to it. Man, this
You should have visual contact soon.
is going to be in sections for me.
Exercise extreme caution.
Roger.
Oh, boy, my heart is pounding. I feel like my core is going to burst.
I feel the same.
There it is.
Liveryn points ahead of us. What seemed to be a massive condensed pillar of light is piercing through the ground and soaring up in the air. Although the concentration of crystals is rather sporadic and not particularly dense, they nevertheless emit a near blinding luminescence. That must be it.
Elegg, run an analysis on the local vicinity.
Will do.
Elegg pokes at her tablet.
No toxins present. Appropriate oxygen levels. No unidentified components. Nothing especially noteworthy, except for the fact that the alpha particle concentration is remarkably low.
Maybe they
All right.
absorb alpha?
You're up, Hammering.
Gotcha.
Herring walks forward and stands in front of a crystal.
Looks like an ordinary crystal to me. It's awfully dense. Not terribly dissimilar from quartz. But there's something strange. Everyone, come take a look.
What is it?
Why'd
Is
you
it
say
okay
like
to
that?
get closer?
It's fine. The exterior surface is extremely smooth. So I don't think there's any gas or liquids coming out of this thing. Just to be safe, though, the commander shouldn't get too close.
Good call.
We cautiously move towards the crystal. Once we're close enough, we immediately notice a certain cluster of crystals, which are distinctly at odds with the rest of the formation in the vicinity.
What an unusual pattern.
It looks like a tech.
This reminds me of something. What was it called again? Damascus.
Is that some kind of curse?
No,
I get
Damascus
it.
steel.
Very funny.
At least someone appreciates my jokes. A word of warning, don't encourage her or else you'll end up regretting it.
But it was funny, really.
Continue, Hammering.
Looking at its exterior, it resembles something you'd see in the quartz family.
It seems like it has some sort of light flowing through it.
Yes, there is some luminescence there.
Is it natural?
Hard to say.
This pattern. Don't you think it resembles circuitry you'd find in a machine?
I was thinking the same thing. Should we take a moment to check?
Elegg extends a wire from the tablet and presses it into the crystal.
Electricity is flowing through it all right, and a whole lot of it.
Does that mean it's a machine?
The notion that electricity can only flow through man-made machines is a fallacy. It flows through living organisms as well.
Technically, electricity can flow through almost anything. Although, it'd probably kill you if it went through.
This, however, doesn't appear to be a living organism.
Interesting.
What is it?
The tablet just shut off.
The battery ran out?
Why didn't you charge it earlier?
Just a second. I should have a spare battery.
I've got one too. But that's strange. I could have sworn it was at 80% only a moment ago.
Hammering, can you glean anything else from the exterior of this thing?
Nope, that's about it. If it's all right with you, I was gonna collect a sample.
How do we go about that?
I'll crack off a small piece from the end.
It's a bit primitive, but it'll get the job done.
You betcha.
Please, go ahead then.
I suggest you step back, Commander. In fact, stand behind me.
Is that really? Well, I agree with her.
You never know. There could be gas trapped inside this. Pieces could go flying once I break it.
Liveryn and Elegg both take a few steps back. Neon moves behind Anise.
What are you doing? It makes more sense for someone bigger to stand in front. Then why don't you go behind Hammering? She's too close to the crystal. It's dangerous.
I'd take a few more steps back if I were you guys. Actually, hide behind cover. There's no telling what could be inside this thing.
Yeah, it could blow up.
The worst case scenario would be that whatever's inside reacts unfavorably to oxygen and it explodes.
Yep.
And if it does, what'll happen to you?
I've got a sturdy noggin. If something goes wrong, just make sure my head stays intact.
Roger.
A few moments later, everyone except for Hammering is hiding behind cover, with only their heads peeking out.
All right, I'm going for it.
Hammering raises her hammer and lightly taps at the crystal. Clink.
Duh. It's much harder than I thought. This is way tougher than quartz. This is more like a diamond. All right, I'm gonna really give it some juice with this swing.
Just as Hammering is about to swing her hammer down.
Rapture detected. 400 meters out. Heading straight for you.
What? This feels like it was planned.
Don't engage in combat near the crystal. You don't know what will happen if the crystal breaks.
Roger.
Whatever's computer is producing the crystals is sending the raptors to stop us from destroying it. I'm assuming it's absorbing alpha particles from the air. Or energy.
Rapture fragments are flying towards the crystal.
Miss Hammering!
Did I ever tell you that I always wanted to be a baseball player?
Hammering focuses on the fragments which are hurling towards the crystal. Then swings her hammer with her might. Crack. Hammering swings. Swing misses, and the fragments of the raptor shatter on the crystal and roll on the ground.
Looks like you'll have to keep dreaming, Hammering.
Anise, get behind me! No, you get behind me!
Everyone take cover!
It's too late. Get behind me, Commander.
Everyone get down!
It didn't blow up. It probably absorbed the rapture. Huh.
Nothing's happening.
That startled me. Yeah, my glasses nearly fell off.
That really scared the heck out of me.
Guess we overreacted.
Guess so.
What was that scream just a moment ago? Was that supposed to be some kind of signal?
Hard to say.
I'll check if any toxic substances were released when the crystal broke.
I actually broke the crystal. It like connects the portable battery to the tablet.
I'm not picking up anything.
How does that thingamajig work anyhow?
It analyzes airborne particles. The range is somewhat narrow, but it's still quite useful.
Can you add that function to my glasses?
Depends. Are they traditional lenses?
No, they're display monitors.
Really? Then it's worth a try. I'll get back to you on that.
Cool! Then I can have supervision.
I hope not. The last thing you need is another thing to prattle on about.
I'll take one of these broken pieces.
Hammering holds up a crystal fragment.
It's not emitting any light.
You're right.
Dude, I have a bad feeling about these. Oh shit. Oh my god. Put that down. Oh, I completely forgot. You guys remember the relics I picked up? We're talking about the people carrying the crystals. They're gonna turn. No, not Hammering. That's gonna happen to Hammering. Oh, that is terrible. We should just leave it.
If it's not coming from the circuitry, then where? No electricity is flowing through it either.
Still, we should take it back with us.
You know, the thing is, technically, the commander should know about those crystal things, because technically I ran around and picked them up while I was on the map, so...
Are you sure? It feels compromised at this point, so, huh?
The crystal fragment of Hammering slowly turns gray, then crumbles and disintegrates.
What the?
What happened?
Did you accidentally crush it?
With my bare hands? How could that be possible?
Let's try and pick up the other pieces. A moment later. After attempting to break off other pieces of the crystal to take as samples, the pieces all disintegrate without exception. Henry moves to take one of the crystalline fragments stuck in the ground, and eventually gives up when she finds it unwilling to budge even an inch. Seems there are not much else we can do at this point.
I think it'd be prudent to return and organize a separate investigation team.
Yeah, let's do that.
Just a moment. Can we head a little further inside? According to the map, there should be more crystals ahead.
I'm game.
Me too.
Are you sure it's not too dangerous?
It wouldn't hurt to take a peek. We might be able to obtain a proper sample inside.
We all came here because we needed the work.
I feel like these crystals could be airborne.
If we return empty-handed, they'll send in another team to investigate.
They're gonna infect
Then
the
we'll be left
Nikkes
jobless yet again.
and turn their insides to crystals, which doesn't make sense since technically I feel like the Nikkes should be able to, sense that.
We at least need to bring back a proper sample. Or some other kind of finding that will turn heads. If we go back like this, we'll just be labeled incompetent.
And on a personal note, this is a completely new type of crystal we're dealing with. I'd hate to leave after just getting a taste of it. Whatever this thing is, we could be the first to discover it. We'd be fools to pass up such a golden opportunity. Regardless of whether or not we collect a sample, don't you want to satisfy your curiosity?
Ah.
I'm asking you, please don't make me beg. I don't want to keep living a servile life where I'm at the mercy of the whims and fancies of other people.
Ah.
If I don't
Slut.
want this to be my last hurrah, I need to make a name for myself during this mission. Of course, that poses a risk, but anything is better than crawling back to the Ark and having to stroke other people's egos day in and day out.
God, man, she...
I'd rather die up on the surface than return to that. I at least have some pride left in me. So please, I'm begging you. Let us explore a bit more.
Reppy, how much risk does the crystal pose?
None, as far as we can tell. It's not toxic, isn't composed of any harmful substances, and doesn't pose any risk of explosion. At present, it's simply an ordinary crystal, albeit with peculiar patterning.
Okay. Let's continue the search. We're going deeper.
Roger.
I'll continue to provide backup.
Appreciated.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ah, man. I like that Elegg is already sus of her. She's like, dude, I'm really concerned that the Nikkes are going to start turning into crystals.
Everyone, over there!
What is it?
Doesn't that look like a cluster of crystals to you?
Sure enough.
Let's go.
You got it.
Elegg and hammering rush over.
Elegg seems awfully enthusiastic all of a sudden.
Now that we know the crystal isn't dangerous, we can carry out our investigation without stepping on eggshells the entire time.
She's motivated. That's something you only get when your back's not against the wall.
But you seem even more motivated than her.
Me? Well, perhaps. My motivation consists of avoiding the worst-case scenario, so I'd say it's closer to desperation. Elegg, on the other hand, is driven by the pursuit of knowledge, so it's a bit different for her.
Personally, I don't think desperation is necessarily a bad thing.
True. When you're between a rock and a hard place, you tend to push yourself.
Exactly.
That's why we're coming along, to make sure no one stretches themselves too thin.
I wonder if Liveryn... Does she work for Dobin?
You're all far too kind to me.
There's a time and place for self-deprecation, and I don't think this is one of them.
I've been that way my entire life. It's the only way I know how to communicate.
Were you like that when you were human?
I don't remember, but most likely. People don't change. Not really.
If you really feel that way, I guess I won't be able to change your mind.
I presume you feel that people can change?
Yes. Always.
Rappy's a lot more talkative.
You talk as if you've experienced it.
Over here, guys!
I will say, Rappy has changed. She's talking a lot more than she
Coming.
really does. Liveryn runs over. Is Liveryn setting off any alarm bells for you?
Yes. Despite her seemingly negative attitude, she is indeed interested in exploration. She's also the one who convinced us to continue with the search.
Do you think she's after something?
Definitely. Although, I'm not sure what that may be.
Considering the recent incident with Exotic, I'd say it's well within reason to be wary.
Just saying we should be cautious.
Exactly. Everyone stay on your toes.
Roger.
A moment later, Elegg and Liveryn are in the midst of an area densely packed with crystals. In the center lies a broken rapture. It looks as if it were intentionally placed on top of the crystal, and its limbs appear to still be convulsing.
Do you see this?
This is gruesome. Are you trying to figure out how this rapture died? You're made of tougher stuff than me.
Not that.
Look a little closer.
Is there something unusual?
Yes.
Click, click, click. The rapture twitches. And after a while, the light in the core begins to diminish.
Unable to detect any signs of life.
This is a bit much.
It definitely isn't pleasant, that's for sure.
Elegg, what are you...
Crank, crank. What is she doing? An eerie groan resounds, and the crystals start to expand. But then stop after a while.
What is this?
I'm not sure. It did this before.
Did the crystal grow just now as well?
Yes.
Could it be using the rapture as nutrients?
I don't think so. Externally, at least, the rapture seems unharmed.
Could it be some kind of virus?
Potentially, one that reacts only to a rapture. Nothing happened to us when we touched it.
No, no, no.
Does this mean we could weaponize this thing?
Shifty, report what you just saw.
How should I formulate the report?
Exclude any speculation and report exactly what you saw.
Understood.
Let's keep going. While we're at it, I should do some experiments. Hammering, can you help?
Of course.
Why she sounds... Man, I don't want anything to happen to Hammering or Elegg. They can't do this.
I'll let you know what Miss Hammering and I have turned up so far. These crystals absorb the energy of anything they have physical contact with for an extended period. If the crystal touches anything that has energy flowing through it, it'll suck it dry and proceed to expand. The reason for this expansion seems simple in that it allows them to occupy a wider surface area. Do you all recall how my tablet ran out of power before? It wasn't a charging issue. The crystals simply drain the energy from the tablet.
Do you have any evidence to support that theory?
I ran several experiments with my backup batteries and got the same result each time. Completely drained. I even touched the crystal myself, and sure enough, my core output dropped ever so slightly. If I had kept my hand on any longer, I would have ended up like our rapture friend from earlier.
Yes, that's what I'm worried about.
You experimented using your own body? Your pursuit of knowledge is unmatched.
I did pay a price for it, however.
What do you mean? Elegg shows her palm of her hand.
Notice anything unusual?
Oh my goodness! What are all those holes in your hand?
How did you notice so quickly? Anyway, yes, there is a preponderance of small holes on my hand.
Have any of them pierced all the way through?
Yes, or at least they attempted to do so. These crystals clearly wanted to absorb all of my energy and chose to use my hand as an entry point to my core.
Like, I hope there's no crystals growing in her.
Once I removed my hand from the crystals and cut off the power supply to it for a while, I was okay.
But what if there's a fragment or something left over in your hand?
Exactly.
There's no need to worry about that. I've conducted experiments which cover that. Hammering, could you explain?
Of course. These crystals absorb energy from other sources and store it inside.
And they then convert into electricity.
Yes, which explains why they've got electricity coursing through them. The disintegration we saw earlier is when they run out of electricity. Think of it like a plant going without water. They're dying because of a lack of nutrients.
In other words, my hand is fine because I cut off the nutrients.
Another thing of note,
Oh, so did she just cut off her arms power? I'm sure the Nikkes could probably do that.
the isolated fragments crumble, but the ones stuck in the ground seem to be fine. So I did some digging. The crystals are all interconnected.
So, all the crystals in this area are connected underground?
Seems like it. Just like tree roots.
So that means...
There has to be an origin point for these bad boys. I propose using a rather simple method to find it. Let's say we run into a particularly large crystal shard up ahead. If we cut it in half, one half will shatter, whereas the other half will remain intact. If we proceed in the direction of the side that remains intact, we might end up reaching the source of all these crystals. Also, while further investigation is required, I have a premonition that there is a flowing current within the crystals. Suppose these crystals are like the roots of a tree. Then nutrients will circulate inside, with the reference point being their center. We can do this. I'm sure that we can find the origin point of these crystals.
I think it's possible as well.
You should do it at another time. Why do you think the crystals are here to begin with?
Good question. The only thing for sure is that they're here, and so are we. So, it's up to us to find out why and how it is that they came to be here. One thing is for certain. They didn't occur naturally. They were clearly placed here intentionally by someone.
Yep.
I think here is good.
Since there's only one way in?
Precisely. And the entrance is quite wide, which makes it suitable for a campsite.
I'll go deploy the decoys then.
You know how to do that?
Of course. I may not have been up to the surface as much as you, but I'm not completely unfamiliar with it. Also, my role is to trace the best route for us, so I'm good at picking the best spots to set up the decoys.
All right.
then. I appreciate you doing this.
I'm just doing my job. You don't have to make it sound like I'm going out of my way.
Let's go together.
I'll be fine. You should...
It's okay.
Oops, I
It'll
didn't
go
mean to
by
cut her off.
quicker if we work together. Then we can rest.
Is Anise gonna prod her?
Shall we?
Okay.
I also wonder if Rappy wants to talk to us. Liveryn and Anise move out.
Are we sleeping here?
Yes.
Are you particular about where you sleep?
Yes, but that's not what I'm worried about. You never know when or where those crystals might target us.
There aren't any nearby.
Are you sure?
Positive. As long as you don't go to sleep hugging them, you'll be just fine.
Okay.
No. Eleg's gonna fall asleep and the crystal's gonna...
Are you always this on edge?
Naturally. It's the best way to increase your chance of survival and success. Exercise caution and strike at the opportune moment.
Elegg is one of the best girls. She already fell asleep.
I also noticed that you fall asleep in no time flat. And you snore like a jet engine.
Will that affect your sleep?
It won't be an issue. I wasn't planning on sleeping anyway.
Getting some sleep would be a good idea.
It's okay. I got plenty of sleep before coming here. I'll keep watch so you all can catch up on your shut-eye.
Elegg, are you unable to sleep because you're too amped up?
It's that obvious, huh?
I noticed how excited you were after seeing the crystal. And you seem much more expressive than when I first saw you.
It's an incredible thrill to finally lay my own eyes on something I was told about endlessly during the mission briefing. Do you think I'm getting too emotional about all this?
No, I like it.
Huh. So that means you like me?
Yes. Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, Elegg, I...
Typical master. Just blurting out whatever he feels.
You jealous, Rappy? Well, then you better step up and say something. Eleg's gonna... She's gonna take me away.
We'll take turns keeping watch. I'll go up first.
And I wouldn't mind it.
Should you find yourself unable to sleep, we'll keep watch together.
You don't mind?
Shifty.
Yes, Commander?
How is Reclamation Site 01 doing?
All quiet. Surprisingly so. I didn't expect the optical camouflage to be this effective.
Then take a break.
I was about to enter standby mode anyway. We'll be monitoring Reclamation Site 01 in alternating shifts, so don't worry.
Wait, who's gonna... Sounds good. You did... Who's gonna replace her for...
As did you, Commander.
Mr. Commander, may I see that?
See what?
The operation device.
I take my operation device out from my ear and hand it to Elegg.
How long have you been using this? When was the last time it was maintained?
I can't recall.
It's on its last legs. The connections are about to fall apart, and the parts are all worn out. Would you mind if I make a few repairs?
By all means.
Just a moment.
Oh, man. Oh, she's gonna install Boom. I should trust her. Oh, my God. Jesus. For a while, only the sounds of hammering, snoring, and Eleg's tinkering with my operation device can be heard.
Finished.
Then... Huh? The status panel on the operation device has been altered. There appears to be something moving on the screen. I lean and get a closer look. Is this a video? That... that little devil.
What?
I didn't think I'd get found out that quickly, but you've got some eagle eyes on you.
What is this?
This is Boom, a classic FPS. It's the father of all modern FPS games.
God damn
The
it.
entire file size is only 28 megabytes, but it's still more fun than most of the games out there today.
But why? How did you...
If it's got a screen, you can run Boom on it. It's just common sense.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, it's the truth, so don't you forget it.
Oh my God, Elegg. I mean, this is our only downside, and yo, I think it's worth it.
By the way, this is more than just a title screen. You can actually play the full game. Although you don't have a controller. I'll make one right now.
Oh my God.
Let's see. Gotta get some spare parts.
It's okay. I'll play it later.
Are you sure? It's really fun. I also installed it on Miss Rappy's weapon adjustment correction screen.
What?
Rappy checks her gun.
Not bad, eh? Like I said, if it's got a screen, I can install that game.
Please erase it.
Damn. Uh-oh. I'm good to talk now. You're late. Oh, sorry. Today was really busy. I wasn't able to steal away at any point. Anyway, I'm finally alone. I told them I was out setting up decoys. Then, how are things going? There are too many uncertainties, so it's taking more time than anticipated. Would you be okay if you had to wait a little longer? I didn't ask that question to get a useless response. I'm sorry. I'll proceed as quickly as possible. All right. The task at hand is of vital importance, so the reward will be accordingly ample. Thank you for that. I'll wait for more information from you, but I won't wait forever. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. I think it's funny he's still playing the goofy music. Yeah. Ah, man. I mean, they make it kind of obvious that there's something up with her. It's like, oh yeah, I'm kind of desperate. And then even Elegg, even Elegg, even Elegg was like, hey, you're kind of sus. And then Rappy's also like, yeah, she is pretty sus.
What are you doing?
Oh, some delivery requests just came in. I was dealing with the customers.
You sure are busy.
Just trying to survive. I'm just happy I got work.
How often do you have to work?
It depends. We usually tend to get pretty bogged down during the holidays. But other than that, it's scattershot.
Must be tough. Are you done dealing with your customers?
Yeah.
Then let's head back. We should get some sleep so that we're well rested tomorrow.
Alright.
There's just one thing. As far as I know, there aren't any holidays coming up anytime soon. And yet, you're still so busy?
Well, like I said, it can be pretty random. Guess I got lucky.
Really? Glad to hear it.
She's not very good at lying.
Yeah. Me too.
The next day.
What's going on?
Neon.
What is this? My eyes are acting strange. What's wrong? Some kind of game is taking up my vision.
Oh my god. Elegg, you sneaky.
There's a game screen on your glass lenses. Boom! Why is that ancient game? Is this some kind of cutting-edge VR technology? The graphics look a bit outdated for that, though.
Elegg.
I upgraded your glasses while you were sleeping. I've given you the honor of being able to play a masterpiece of gaming up close and personal.
I don't want a game. I want supervision.
Actually, I meant to ask you, where did you get those glasses anyway?
These? I've had them for as long as I can remember.
They're extraordinary. The frames are made of cutting-edge and lightweight materials. The lenses are in fact a high-performance visual display. I've never seen anything like it.
She's such a nerd.
The internal OS has a ludicrously large capacity, and it's being utilized to the max. There was barely enough space left to install Boom.
I have no idea what you're going on about, but can you just get rid of this game and bring my glasses back to normal?
Just tap the top of your frames twice and it'll shut off.
Can you make it so that I can tap the sides? It'll look way cooler that way.
I'm telling you, you should look into that eyewear of yours. They're no ordinary pair of glasses. What's that on that wall over there?
What is it? It's got Elegg scared.
What's wrong?
What is it?
Over there!
I look in the direction Elegg is pointing. Over on the walls, which have been to our back and sides. Densely packed crystals. The clusters of tiny crystals have formed. None of those were there last night.
Could they have moved over here?
They following us?
Don't be absurd. Crystals don't have legs. Maybe they have detachable legs? Ugh. At this point, I don't think that's totally outside the realm of possibility.
Maybe the crystal formations were already here, and they've only just now popped out since we were here for a while.
You mean they move in order to consume nutrients?
More than
I've
likely.
been thinking, and these things seem less and less like a type of ore.
What are they then?
Don't they seem more plant-like to you? It has roots, dies as soon as it runs out of nutrients, and actively moves towards acquiring said nutrients. If that doesn't describe a plant-based life form to a T, what does?
It all checks out.
Just as a precaution, I'll contact the Botanic Garden Squad. I'm on good terms with them.
That sounds like a good idea.
Commander, how should we proceed?
Let's get the hell out of here. No! Let's get the hell. If we sense. No! I don't want to keep going. Let's get the hell out of here.
Roger.
Fuck!
My feet keep getting caught in the hem of
There's
this dress.
crystals appearing everywhere. What the heck? I hope nobody dies. I really hope nobody dies.
Or
Shit! I clicked that. No! I clicked off by accident.
It wasn't like this on the map. Then again, I guess we can't expect all the details to be exact.
Especially since it's a map displaying an aerial view from above.
Is it just me, or are we totally screwed if any raptures come at us from either side?
I'll watch the rear. I'll need someone else to help.
I'll join you.
Thanks.
By the way, watch your step, everyone. This place is flooded with crystals.
Yeah, the crystals dot almost every inch of the ground and walls. We can't touch anything.
Let's turn
I
back.
don't even want to think about fighting in a place like this.
Let's turn back.
If we were sent flying and fell into a crystal cluster, we'd end up being drained and then dying. Just like that rapture we saw yesterday.
Let's
I
turn
was
back.
thinking about that, actually. And I believe it can be solved quite easily. All we've got to do is remove our heads.
What?
If we're between a rock and a hard place, removing our heads will solve the problem. The crystals would ravage our bodies and suck them dry. But so long as our heads remain intact, we'll be able to stay alive.
An interesting theory, but how many people are actually going to be willing to go through with it?
Why would there be any hesitation? It's 100% the safest and most foolproof method.
Miss Hammering, have you ever died before?
No,
Neither have I, but I think it's something more severe than being solved simply by removing a body part.
The Counters are hardened warriors, so maybe they've experienced something like that before?
They have.
Yes, I have.
Me too.
Called it.
I haven't because I'm so amazing.
Could you please explain to Miss Hammering on how difficult dying is?
Dying isn't an easy thing. Even more so when it's by your own hand.
Did you hear that, Miss Hammering?
really? I guess I don't know since I've never been in that kind of situation. I guess I'll find out when I'm faced with it.
Ideally, you would never have to face a situation like that.
Very true.
The best way to deal with this sort of thing is to prepare for the worst.
I've imagined the worst case scenario in my head countless times. But when it comes, I never deal with it the way I'm supposed to. Not like when it's during a simulated battle.
Gosh, and all these crystal stuff makes me think of Tiberium and makes me think of Arknights.
Yeah? What is it that you imagine?
Don't ask. It's so bad that I can't even say it out loud.
Okay.
Shifty, what's ahead of us?
The downtown area. This city used to be a moderate-sized trade hub. Other than that, there was nothing particularly noteworthy about it.
After we pass through here, does the path end?
I can't be certain. Even this narrow path we're on now wasn't on the map.
Can we have like a drone?
I did find something unusual though. The map indicates that there's something massive just on the outskirts of the city. However, any further statements without visual confirmation would simply be conjecture.
Okay, let's turn around.
Roger.
No. Take care, my friend. I heard that you died in an accident, but then I saw you on TV. I thought I was going crazy. I heard that you're something called a suitor now. I don't know what that is, but I'm happy that you got out of this place. I think the rest of us will spend the rest of our lives here. This is our hometown, and there's nowhere else to go. I really wonder if it's talking about Red Hood.